But worship can't be just confined. It can't be just limited to this time we spend in church on Sunday morning, Sunday nights, or Wednesday nights. Worship has to be a constant thing in our lives. Like so many things, the best way I can think of it goes back to food. My grandfather, I love my grandfather's cooking. My grandfather makes vegetables better than anybody else because they all taste like ham. Doesn't matter what he's making, it's going to taste like pig. And Pappy would go and he would cut some greens out of his garden. He'd put them in a big pot. And early in the morning I'd watch. He'd throw some jowl in there. He'd throw a pig foot. He'd throw, I didn't ask a lot of what it was. But man, you go through his house. My grandparents lived in a small house there in Lexington. And you just smell that. And I'd walk up to the stove and it'd be simmering. And I'd look and you could just get that faint smell. And Pappy, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. And he just wanted it simmering all day so that every bit of nutrient and vitamin was sucked out and infused with nothing but pork fat. And finally, dinner time would come that night and he'd lift that lid off and that smell. It's one of my favorite smells in all the world. And I kind of think of worship like that. That every day of the week, we individually as God's people, as we're going through lives, we're simmering in worship. As God is blessing us and God is at work, as God speaks to us through His Word, as we spend time with God in prayer, we're simmering. And all throughout the week, as we pay attention to those things God does for us, and we see those doors of opportunity He opens to us. We see those doors of opportunity He closes for us. And we're simmering. And then collectively we come together on a Sunday morning, and that lid is lifted off, and all of our praise and all of our worship combines together to present this sweet aroma in the nostrils of God as He says, those are my people. But the reality is if we're not worshiping during the week, when we come together, we can't worship on Sunday morning, can we? If we're not simmering all week, if we're not paying attention to God's goodness, if we're not loving God with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength on a daily basis, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, it really doesn't matter what happens when we come together on Sunday. Because if we're dead 6 days out of the week, don't expect to be alive on one. And so God is calling to these people, and God is pointing out to Israel how dead their worship is and how much they need Him. And the prophet Malachi, he calls us to truly worship God. And throughout this book, he shows us what it means to truly worship God. I like Erwin Lutzer, who's pastor at Moody Tabernacle there in Chicago. Dr. Lutzer says, if we have not learned what it means to be a worshiper, it really doesn't matter how we do anything else. If we don't really get worship, nothing else matters. And this is the thrust of the book of Malachi, is what does it mean to be a worshiper?